Hey guys, Hitman89 here, and welcome to my honest review on FIFA 20. It's developed and published by EA and it comes out September 27th on PC, Xbox One, PS4 and Nintendo Switch. So FIFA is a football simulation game that comes out every year, and with this review we're gonna try and answer a few questions. Like, is it actually a simulation? Is it fun to play? And most importantly, is this year's edition worth its price tag? So without further ado, let's start this review with the graphics. On FIFA, player faces aren't always photorealistic, but the most famous players look really good. Most players are easily recognizable, but the textures they used for faces aren't detailed enough, at least in my opinion. Maybe it's got something to do with the engine they're using, or maybe the game wouldn't be smooth enough if they had better textures. Actually, that's probably why the pitch sucks. You won't see any grass, or at least the detailed enough pitch that looks realistic in game, obviously, because during cutscenes and replay you'll see the grass. Anyways, let's move on to the animations. FIFA has good facial animations on cutscenes. In-game animations are smooth, not always realistic, but definitely smoother and less robotic than PES animations. But some stuff like the net animations, they're average, just like the flags you'll see when you score or before the game starts. They don't look good enough. By the way, this review was shot on PS4, so when it comes to the performance, the game runs at 60 FPS, I mean in-game, because you'll get 30 FPS during the replays, cutscenes, and probably in menus too, because they're not that smooth and responsive. On console, obviously, because if you play the game on PC, you're gonna get 60 FPS and the menus are gonna be super smooth. And if you've never played the game on PC, you don't know what I'm talking about. All around though, the graphics haven't evolved that much since FIFA 17, so I really think it's time for a new engine. Moving on to the sound, I usually like FIFA's soundtrack, but I don't know about this one. It's got a few good songs, but we're very far from FIFA 14, 15, or even FIFA 16's soundtrack. The commentary is still good though, regardless of the language you pick. It's professional, and the crowd chants are also good. You'll notice some fans booing one of their former players who now plays for another club, for example, and if you're wasting time, you'll get booed too. And when you score, you can even hear the players celebrating, which is pretty cool, because I love those sort of details. Anyways, I'm gonna let you listen to the game audio for around 15 seconds before we move on to the gameplay.
Lovely ball. Now just to keep it a beat. Oh, it's a great goal!
Now when it comes to the gameplay, starting with the good stuff, FIFA 20 has enough content to keep you busy until the next one comes out. And it's not just licenses, because even though they lost a few good ones to PES, like Juventus, which is now called Piemonte Calcio, don't forget to leave a like for the shitty Italian accent. Seriously though, they lost a few good ones, but they still have way more licenses than PES, but I honestly don't care about that. So let's talk about the game modes instead. Starting with the new one, Volta, which by the way stands for return in Portuguese. It's basically FIFA Street without the score system, so you could just play normally without doing any skill moves, which kinda sucks in my opinion. But anyways, Ultimate Team has a new design, not necessarily for the better, cause now a simple task like adding a player to your squad takes more steps than before. But I like the refined objective system and the additional customization options. I also like the new friendly game modes that have different rules, so they'll make you change your playstyle. And when it comes to pro clubs, it's only got tiny little changes, just like career mode. You can now customize your manager, male, female, etc. Also, there's a morale and performance system, press conferences where you get 3 options, just like the one-on-one chats with players. It's not deep enough. And now I think it's finally time to go balls deep into FIFA 20's gameplay, and therefore we're gonna talk about the bad stuff. It only took me a couple of games to come across some bugs, like literally the shit you're about to see happened on the second game. But apart from the glitches and bugs, let me tell you why I don't like FIFA's gameplay. Starting with the ball physics, it's not realistic at all. It's so obviously pre-programmed, and it's done in a way that almost every single time there's a rebound, the ball has to go to an unmarked player, instead of having a realistic physical reaction. You'll also notice the lack of unpredictable deflections, where in real life or even in PES, a deflected shot could result in an awesome goal, just like it could lose most of its power and become easily stoppable. That's the beauty of having a realistic physics engine, you know. Oh, and apart from that, not much happens in midfield. It just takes a couple of passes to find yourself in a one-on-one situation with the keeper, and that's why, in my opinion, scoring isn't that rewarding on FIFA, since almost every single game has at least 5 goals, which for a game that describes itself as a football simulation is not realistic at all. Some ref decisions need to be fixed too, cause it's like they don't see obstructions as fouls. You could literally have your defender body slam your opponent's striker, punch him in the dick, get the ball, and the ref would be like, okay. Last, but certainly not least, in real life, football teams have their own playstyles. But on FIFA, the game indirectly forces you to play a certain way if you want to win. For example, low-driven shots are still overpowered, so most goals will end up looking the same, and that's a shame. I made it rhyme, but I didn't even mean to. Now let's go back to the good stuff. Finding an opponent only takes a couple of seconds, and spending a lot of time in the menus, building squads, buying and selling players, trying to make coins, all that stuff is enjoyable. Much more enjoyable than playing the actual game. Anyways, let's move on to the replayability. I know some people play pro clubs and career mode, but in my opinion, what keeps FIFA alive is Ultimate Team. And if that's the only game mode you're interested in, then you'll definitely be able to play the game until the next one comes out. Because there are tons of special events and new cards that you'll have to open tons of packs to get. But seriously, Team of the Week, Team of the Year, Team of the Season, Halloween, Eid Mubarak, Christmas packs, all this shit keeps players hooked, and therefore prevents the game from dying. Now when it comes to the fun factor, doing SBCs, getting more coins, buying better players, building your ultimate team is really fun and addicting. Playing the actual game though isn't that fun. It's not satisfying, scoring goals doesn't feel that rewarding, and even when you win, you still don't have that much fun. It's extremely addicting though. That's why my Twitter feed is always full of people complaining about the gameplay. Look at this shitty goal I conceded. Look at how terrible the AI is. I fucking hate this game. EA, fix this now. You know, the usual bullshit people say before they pre-order the next FIFA game to start complaining again. And then those same people dare to ask me why I quit FIFA. Well, you know, it's too much fun. That's why I only play it when I have to review it. In all seriousness though, in my opinion FIFA would be so much more fun, or maybe it would actually be perfect if it had PES's gameplay. Last but not least, when it comes to the value for money, $60 for FIFA 20, and like I said on my PES 2020 review, if this year you're making the switch, so in this case from PES to FIFA, then the game will definitely be worth it since everything is gonna be new to you. But if you already have FIFA 19, 18, 17, etc., then FIFA 20 will obviously feel like a big DLC and you won't get your money's worth. Because let's be real, if the game uses the same engine, then why release a new one instead of releasing a big DLC, like a $30 DLC instead? Alright, I'll tell you why. Because if you're addicted to FIFA, then you probably already pre-ordered FIFA 20, and you cussed me out in the comments section because you got triggered by some of the shit I said. But hey, I don't care what anyone thinks, this is an honest review. So for me, FIFA would be perfect if it had PES's gameplay, but why would they change this arcadey gameplay if they're dominating the market? That's why they focus on content instead of actually making the game more enjoyable on the pitch. Anyways, I'ma give FIFA 20 a 7.5 out of 10. Special thanks to Anthony Witten, aka Tony, for helping me out and therefore making this video possible. That's gonna be it for my honest review on FIFA 20. I hope you found it useful. Leave a like if you did, and please check out my other videos. I make game reviews, comparison videos, and top 10 videos that you might find useful. Unless you only play one motherfucking game, then you won't like any other video on my channel. Speaking of which, on the next episode of Versus we'll have PES 2020 and FIFA 20 to see which is better, so stay tuned. It's been Hitman89, see you guys very soon.